Well, as far as the green jersey goes, well, on the road it means Peter Sagan is now officially the leader of this race on points. And Coquard's closed a little bit, and Kittel didn't bother to contest it, so he's dropped back a little bit.
Yes, but I think at the end of the day, Peter Sagan is thinking yellow. That's what he's looking for at the end of today's stage. He wants to stay in contact with this group once they go over these final few climbs of the day, get himself a good finish on today's stage, and try and get himself the yellow jersey. I think we'll see a little bit of respite, but just look at the time gap now. Just because of that acceleration going for the intermediate time sprint, we've seen that gap to the breakaway group drop to 1.5 minutes.
Well, the field regroup and the gap is down to 1:38, but it's going up again now.
So I think we'll see a little bit of time out for the next few kilometres or so as we go back to the leading group of 7 riders. They are now in downtown Keighley. Keighley with 132 kilometres to go to the finish is at the confluence of the Aire and Worth rivers. It was known many years ago as a big textile centre for both wool and cotton, and many factories sprung up around here. Although some of them were renovated in the 1960s, it did lose a number of its historic monuments until it was absorbed into the metropolitan region of Bradford in 1974. There's a lot of celebrities are linked to this town, both sporting and historic, as Blel Kadri is the rider now, coming to the front for AG2R.
Minute 43, and in the school playground, been a lot of projects amongst the schools here in Keighley. They've been working hard to make it happen for the Tour de France. Minute 45 as they nudge it up now as we go through the centre of Keighley here. Yorkshire's provided many famous cyclists. It's a great cycling region over the years. Arthur Metcalfe also came from Leeds. He was sadly no longer with us. Arthur rode in the Tour de France, rode in many of the famous classics in the world, and for British professional teams, which was in those days almost unheard of. Coursing through the streets of Keighley now. Peloton pretty regular. The gap might nudge out again. They closed it down to around about 93, 95 seconds. Because of the impetus in the sprint, it's stretching again at 1:48. It's nothing very much as we go towards Oxenhope Moor, which is going to be quite a selection ride. It's right down there by the Keighley and Worth Valley Steam Railway, and I hope we get glimpses of that. Making no big effort now. They're regrouping here, the peloton. I think they've had a good look at this route somehow. They know what is to come. Once we leave Keighley, we head out towards Harworth and then on to Oxenhope. And it's quickly going out to 2 minutes, this gap now. The chase is shut down. Peter Sagan on the road is the virtual leader of the green points jersey. He keeps his white jersey, of course. That's only decided by his finishing positions and overall position. And the yellow jersey there of Marcel Kittel has dropped away from the front group at the moment. His teammates were a little bit disrupted by striking that spectator, who did seem to fall. I've just seen Kittel on the right as we would look at the picture if we see the peloton again, but for the moment we've gone back up to the 7 leaders here. The black jersey there of Mathieu Boucher, the green jersey of Kemeneur. Quite a mixed bunch of nationalities in this breakaway today. Oh, obviously it's a lot hotter in Keighley than anywhere else at the moment. Some of these riders, you can see with Boucher here starting the day with those long arm warmers on, but most of the riders now have shed them. He's warming up nicely. These boys are just going to keep their tempo. It's up to the bunch behind to yo-yo, and they've dropped back to 2 minutes at the moment as we now begin to climb away from Keighley. The climb of Oxenhope Moor is a pretty exposed climb. It's another famous climb in the region for the club cyclists.
Yeah, well, that's what's on the horizon next for the riders as they'll head down towards Oxenhope Moor. That will come straight after Haworth, which is just in the outskirts of Keighley. Haworth, of course, is a very famous town, probably much linked with the Bronte family. In fact, most of the Bronte families, with the exception of Anne, are actually buried here in Haworth. The family tomb is where the present-day church was built between 1879 and 1881. Not very much remains of the previous buildings in that area as we look at Marcel Kittel in the middle there in his yellow jersey, looking very, very comfortable in this early part of the race. 127 kilometers to go. And I wonder, once we get over the top of this next climb of the day, if we get a chance to see the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. Well, looking now as we start to head through Haworth, we've left Keighley behind us. This is the main field. The gap is locked in at 2 minutes to the 7-man breakaway group. Tête de la course, as they say in French, head of the race. Inside 1:58 seconds is the gap. That 7-man leading group is the same as it was that got away very early on. Cadry, De Klerk, Kemener, Matthew Boucher of the United States, Cyril Lemoine and David de la Cruz, and Armindo Fonseca making that 7-man leading group. And the artists have been out all over the Yorkshire moors here, and I think it's a pig, followed by a cow at the top there. And obviously Haworth is very well known because of the Brontes.
You and I know that's a Cheshire cat, surely.
Oh, is it? I thought it was a pig, because it's got a bit of a curly tail at the back, and because there's a bucket underneath the one on top, I think that's a cow.